Hello my dear students, welcome back to the virtual class of ISC history. So in the previous class I taught you about the aggressive policy of Italy, and before that I taught you about the foreign policy of Germany. So while going through the foreign policy of Germany, we came to know that Germany one after another was becoming more and more aggressive. They violated the terms of Treaty of Versailles, but on the other hand, England and France, what were they doing? They followed the policy of appeasement. So today's topic is all about Anglo-French appeasement policy. So let's start our today's class. So you can see over here that Anglo-French appeasement policy, England, Great Britain and France. Okay, why did they follow the policy of appeasement? So when did they follow the policy of appeasement? When Germany annexed Sudetenland. Okay, or before that, when they were trying to annex Sudetenland, why did they call for a Munich Pact and they permitted them? Okay, Germany, you are allowed to annex those part of Sudetenland where German population is there. Why did they do so? They should have stopped them, isn't it? They should have stopped them, but in spite of stopping them, they permitted them through treaty. Okay, when Rhineland was captured, did they do anything? No. Okay, when Austria was annexed, did they do anything? That they means Britain and France, did they do anything? No, because Britain and France were responsible for maintaining international peace and prosperity as per the League of Nations. But what were they doing? Why did they overlook it? What were the reasons? Or the most important thing is that when Austria was annexed, after that, when they decided, when Germany was showing aggressiveness to bring those territories back to their union, like Czechoslovakia, then why did they allow Germany to annex Sudetenland? And after the annexion of Sudetenland only, the entire Czechoslovakia was annexed within 6 months. And later on they decided, no, now we have to stop Germany. But why did they follow a policy of appeasement? There is a topic, Anglo-French appeasement policy. So what is the meaning of appeasement? What is the meaning of appeasement? It is mentioned over appeasement is a diplomatic and political or material concession. It is a diplomatic material concession given to the enemy power, given to the enemy. Why you are giving concession to enemy? To avoid war. If you don't give concession, they may drag you into the war. Okay, so this is a literary meaning of appeasement. Or if you are asked what is the meaning of appeasement, then you can write this answer. Now let us see here one by one. I have divided this into two topics, like why did Great Britain follow the policy of appeasement? On the other side, why did France follow the policy of appeasement? Okay, one by one. Now first one you can see here, Great Britain had intense fear of communism. Intense fear of communism. So Germany, they were trying to stop Germany, but from where did this topic come, communism? Why they thought that communism is a threat? Because Russia on the other hand was communism was spreading like a wildfire, and they wanted to stop the spread of communism. That is why, my dear, they wanted to allow Germany, so that Germany only was the country, Germany, Italy, they hated the communists like anything. It is mentioned over here, like Great Britain had intense fear of communism. So if Germany is the only country who is going to stop Russia, because we are together, because Britain and France were closer to Russia, right? So they cannot stop them directly. That is why they thought that it is better that Germany take action against Russia. Now number two, maintain the balance of power. Right, you know that Britain also had suffered a huge loss after the First World War. So they were of the apprehension that right now it is not wise for us to drag Europe into the war. Because if we drag Europe into the war, or country, England, into the war, so that will be a danger for the balance of power. So it is better that we avoid this war-like situation. This way we can maintain the balance of power. You are powerful on your side, I am also powerful on our side. Because if we are involved in the war, then definitely there will be a winner and a loser. So in this case, Britain is not very sure that I am going to stop Germany or not. Okay, why so? That also we'll discuss. Number 3, differences between Great Britain and France. There was a lot of differences between Great Britain and France, like Britain was not very sure that we are going to have get a collective security of forces or armament from France. So if I declare war against Germany, then whether I am going to get full support from France or not, that was not very sure to British Prime Minister Chamberlain. Okay, so collective security was not very sure from British side as they were talking about France. So they cannot go and ask, no, so are you ready for the war or not? But still, if you are ready also, but I am not very sure that I am going to get full support from France resources. Okay, because after the war, France also had suffered a huge economic crisis in their country. So differences between Great Britain and France means differences of sources, material, forces and armament, whether the same amount of armament forces will be supplied from France side or not. Otherwise, the whole burden of war will fall on my soldiers. Number 4, internal weakness. After the First World War, there was a lot of crisis in Britain, like economic problem was there. Like in 1929, you might have heard about American Great Crash. America suffered a Great Depression. So that depression had affected almost the entire world. France also suffered, Britain also suffered, Germany also suffered, Italy also suffered, Japan also suffered. So Britain also had suffered a lot. So there was a economic problem going on in Britain. Okay, economic condition of Britain was very, very worst. It was the economic condition which created her fear of communism. So they were of this fear that the condition is becoming worse, and right now there is a chances of the growth of communism. Because whenever economic condition becomes worse, then there is a chances of the rise of communism. That fear also was there in the minds of British Prime Minister Chamberlain. Okay, so a lot of internal problems where their economy has gone down. Okay, and due to that, communism was spreading its root, so they wanted to stop that also. Okay, this is all about British side. Now on the other side, France, why did France follow the policy of appeasement? Number 1, terribly afraid of Germany. You know that it was France who made the terms of treaty so harsh that they were very much sure that if they get a chance, then they will crush France like anything. And the collective security which was promised by England and America also was not very sure whether that security they are going to get it or not. France was given joint Anglo-American guarantee against unprovoked Germany aggression, but this guarantee maintained merely on paper. So whatever guarantee they said, we are with you, England and America had given guarantee, but that was merely on paper. In real terms, whether they are going to give them guarantee or not, that was not very sure to the France people. That is why they were terribly afraid of Germany. Okay, now number 2, morale of French army was not so high. The morale of French army was not so high. So every year war, because they had been fighting the First World. After that, rest was required. So the confidence level and the morale of French army was very, very low. Okay, like the materials of French soldiers were insufficient. So if you ask me to go for a war, I must be given full, that means sufficient war materials, right? So with that I will be encouraged, yes, we have war material. But here in the case, France had insufficient war material. So with that insufficient war material, you cannot boost up the morale of a French soldier. That is why the morale of French army was not so high. They were not ready full-fledgedly for the war. Though in terms of protecting the country, they were ready, but from inside they were very, very low. Now next one, number 3, you can see here, horror of war haunted the French people. So why it is so? Because in the First World War, French people lost more men as compared to any other country in the world. Like it is mentioned, horror of war haunted the French people. French opinion was so firmly attached to peace that it was not prepared to another war to stop aggression. Okay, so it is mentioned France had lost more men in the First World War than any other country. Very simple. France had lost more men as compared to any other country. That is why, my dear, they were not very firm and confident, and the family members or the friends people, they were very much afraid of war, because war brings death and devastation. And the example of the war is that French people lost more men than any other country in the World War, in the First World War. Okay, and the last one you can see here, France was afraid of communism. So you can see here this point, okay, you can see here this and this point, you can see here both Britain and France were afraid of communism. Both Britain and France were afraid of communism, so they wanted to stop the spread of communism. Okay, French politicians wanted to save the country from Bolshevism. France was prepared to appease both Germany and Italy to save their own country. They wanted to appease both Germany and Italy in order to save their country from the spread of communism. Just imagine the world politics, something different. Okay, children. So this is all about from this topic. So why did Great Britain follow the policy of appeasement? On the other side, why did France follow the policy of appeasement? Normally in your board exam, you will be asked like, why did English and France, why did Anglo-French follow the policy of appeasement, or why did England and France follow the policy of appeasement, or one more is there, why did British Prime Minister Chamberlain follow the policy of appeasement? So this is all about from today's class. Hope you all have understood it. So we'll come up with the courses of the war in the next class. So till then, please take care of yourself. Wash your hands regularly. Use of sanitizer is must, and then put face masks regularly. Okay, and take care of your elders. So we'll meet again next class. Till then, take care, stay safe. Bye bye.